Hey everyone, this is David here. So I'm going to talk to you today about how I got a check in 15, 20 minutes. I'll call it an hour. And this check was a pretty decent amount for 1 hour's work. It's $1,100. Now, a lot of you may say, well, that's not that much. And I get it. But what I try to do is get several checks a week. Like here's one for 1,500. Here's another one for $1,000. And if you could do this consistently, you build up your income to where it's over, and here's one for 4,200. So what you do is you build up your income, and literally I can show you all the checks I have from the state here. I mean, there's just a ton that I have that are on my desk here that I've gotten from the state on unclaimed state property. I'm just trying to give some credibility to how the checks are and how you keep them coming in consistently and how you want to work it. But I want to talk about the script and a live call that I had with somebody that I got this deal and got under contract. Hi, this is David Church. Is this Sean?
Yeah.
Hey, Sean, I'm calling you on a recorded line. I tried you and you tried me back a couple of weeks ago. I was calling you about your dad's PO box. You remember that call?
Yeah.
Hey, did you know what this is about? I'm calling from JD Vista. Did you know that he had a PO box for in Eldridge, California? I'm a state funds locator. I'm licensed with the state, and he had a pension with the state of California Plus program. It was a retirement fund that went dormant for $11,361.49. Did you know about that?
No, I didn't.
Okay, yeah, he had that, and with your permission, I don't know if he had. Was it just you, or did you have any brothers or sisters?
No, it's just me.
Okay, we can move, and he wasn't married, correct, at the time of death?
Technically he was, but she actually passed away, I think, about a year or two after he did. So.
Okay, did she have kids? This might be a little more complicated. Did she have kids?
She had a daughter. Let's see, and I don't know if they were even married for a year, to be honest with you.
Okay.
If that matters.
I could verify and see. Now, did he ever live like I'm sorry, what were you gonna say?
So she had a daughter. I believe her daughter passed away as well.
Okay.
I think there were a couple of grandkids.
So I will say that when you have someone talking and giving you this much information, you want to keep getting the information as much as you can, because you probably have a deal here. And I did get the deal. I did get this guy paid out, and it was fairly nice. And if I did one of these calls a day, and there are so many funds in the state of California right now, there's like hundreds of thousands of unclaimed funds that are very doable and workable. And people say it's a saturated market. It's really, in my opinion, it's not. There's $8 billion of unclaimed funds in the state of California. There was the last time I checked. You just got to be on top of your game, manage your list, and manage your calls, which I've been teaching you to do. Now I'm getting on script today.
Don't know if they're still around.
Now, did he only live in
that's a long time ago.
Did he only live in Eldridge, or did he live in I've got Valley Center, Crestline, and then I have this one in Eldridge where you came up with him. But then I've also got San Diego, Morro Bay, Covina. I don't know if he lived in any of those places or not.
No, he grew up in Ohio, in Oak Hill, a small town. I don't know, probably it's like 100 miles south of Columbus, and then lived in Pomona, which is where I grew up, and then moved up here to Sonoma, which is Eldridge. He was actually working at the state hospital there in basically just outside of Glen Ellen, but they call it the little township that they called Eldridge, and they had a post office there, so that's where that is. So,
okay, yeah, so it's an address, but this one matched up with you and everything. With your permission, what I'd like to do is I could send you a clip of this on an email. So I'm giving him a plan of action here, and I used to try to sell myself a lot. I stopped trying to sell myself. When I say sell myself, I was always trying to build myself credibility. Now in my script, I allow the script to sell itself, and I'll explain that here momentarily. So let me finish this, and then I'll talk about how I've even tweaked this just a little bit. And then I could show you where it's at and what the agreements would look like if you want to use us. We are pretty well known of getting people paid. I do want to verify that I would only have to deal with. The big question is was he married or not? And if he wasn't, it's a slam dunk you all the way. If he was, there might be, but the fact that the daughter's deceased, you're probably going to be the next in line. Did he have a will or anything, or like what do you call it? Can't think right now. There's a trust. Do you have a will or a trust? That's horrible. I was way too comfortable there. I never should have said I can't think of it. What do you call it? That's horrible language on my part. Horrible language on my part. I'm using a lot of the right words, so I'm saying with your permission, with your approval, I can show you the agreements. You want to avoid something. When I first started doing this, I would say, I'll get this under contract. I'll take care of you. I'll go and do this. And that's intimidating because you're calling somebody with tens of thousands of dollars. You're letting them know that they have these unclaimed funds that they didn't know they had. And you're making it all about you, where I'm saying I'm giving them some sort of empowerment, which people need that, like, hey, this is your permission. You don't have to use us. We do have a good way, and educating the call, that is huge in this. Let's go and finish this up.
Let's see. He did have a will. I think I still have a copy of it. I
And
know that I was the main beneficiary of everything, like all the life insurance, everything that was in the will, all that stuff. So
that'll probably be a slam dunk. What I could do with your permission is I could go ahead and email you, and then if you want to move forward, I could you'll have to notarize the document. JD Vista will pick that up if you want to go forward. So the total would be 11,361.49, and then once that's claimed, we would get 10% of that, and that's how it would work.
Okay.
All right, you wanna?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, give me 1 second here. Let me get out my notes here. And so I'm hoping I showed the right check in the beginning. This is the check that I got for that deal right there. And again, I try to get multiple of these checks a week. I mean, if you did one check a week on this, and there's so much money out there, what I was talking about earlier, letting the script sell itself. So I used to call up and I used to say, my name is David. I get people paid. I can show you checks. I can show you testimonials. I have a website. I have this. I have that. That is good to have, but I could probably count on one hand in the last 3 years how many people have actually asked me for a website. It does happen, and it's good to have. Don't get me wrong. It is good to have a website and have that information. But if I call like I did, this is David Church trying to reach John. John, I'm calling you about the property at 123 Main Street. And I educate them for the first half of the call. And I even said, if you choose to use us, if you want to use us, here's what we could do. So the first half of the call is educating them about the claim. I identified myself as a state funds locator. That's huge. And then I go ahead and I identify the property. Now, I had a ton of data there. So if you watch any of my past YouTube videos, I'm really big on data. Here's the address, here's the name, here's the account, here's what was had. Like, I had all the data right there. So obviously I'm not calling them up and saying, hey, I'm the RS, you owe a fee and you owe this. Or the other day I got one of the biggest scam calls ever. They wanted my bank round information. They told me that I won PCH. I'm none of that. I'm calling them, here's your dad's account. Here's his information. I had to submit the paperwork into the state. I thought they might give me some resistance. We put in a death certificate. We put in a table of heirship. We put the will in with it. We sent it off. And a few months later, I had that check, which was one of my easiest payouts with the state. Now, what was funny is there was a hiccup with this address. I kind of felt bad about this. I got paid like 3 weeks before he did. So when I called him up to thank him, he kept on calling me, hey, I haven't gotten paid. Hey, I haven't got paid. And I finally had to check the state of California. Unfortunately, when a check goes back, it goes through the system, it gets processed. And it took him like weeks after. I felt really bad about that. It was really funny. The thing I've also got to work on is sometimes I get too nervous. That was one of my live cold calls where I was doing that in front of the community. That's why I'm on camera the way that I am there. I was saying the word too much, and I'm very cautious of that. Sometimes I get nervous and it just comes out. That's why you always want to listen to yourself and record yourself so that you could say, okay, how would you do if you got that call and the person kept on saying, and I hate that word. I hate the fact that I use that. And so I think I use way too much, and feel free to criticize me in my video if I use those. So to recap this, on a live cold call script on a deceased, this is a deceased case. A few of you have asked me recently to come up with a video on a deceased, which I have. So that's the first thing that I want to do. Secondly, I let the deal sell itself. I call up with the data and I inform him about it. And I even said, you don't need me. If you choose to work with me, here's what I'll do for you. So I give him that option. Some people say, oh, you can never say that. You have to say this. I got paid. I've shown you the check. It happens all the time. I get multiple checks per week. It does work. If I call up and I say, hey, you know what? You can only work with me and these are secret funds and I'm not going to tell you where they are. And I'm going to ask you to sign with me and I'm going to hide these and not tell you about this. All you have to do is go to the state of California, look up his dad's name, and boom, it's right there. So how do you avoid people working around you? Well, it happens. I get that question all the time. You have to build a rapport. You have to have data and you have to come off like you're the professional. You have to know your stuff and then you have to have a plan of action. So I inform him. I let him know what I could do. And then how did I end that call? I ended it by getting his personal information. I'm sorry, I'm not going to play that for you because that was his personal phone. I'm real big about personal information. And then what I did is I went ahead, I emailed him immediately. Now, this guy was very well motivated, unlike my usual client. When I emailed him, I told him I'd follow up with him the next day. I had notarized documents in my inbox. He actually took it to his bank, notarized it, brought it back or somewhere. He went and notarized it somewhere and had it in my inbox. That seldom happens, but it happens when you have a client that does that, it's a motivated client. When people are sitting on tens of thousands of dollars and they haven't claimed it, you usually have to help them take action, and you have to have an action plan with them. Like, I can get you this. I cover the notary. I have the notary show up to their house. I pay for that. I get the documents and I submit them and I get paid. That's what this business is about. Hey everyone, I hope this video helps. So again, I'm trying to drive home. I used to selling myself was, I have a website, I have this, I have that. Now I let the deal sell itself. You have these funds. They're located here. With your approval, they've gone dormant. We're state fund locators. We do this. We'd love to work with you. I can show you what the agreements look like. I would love to move forward. That is, and I'm giving you a gold nugget here because this has been something that it's taken me years to learn, and it's worked pretty well. Hey everyone, do me a favor, keep on commenting. Let me know some videos that you would like me to do or some other things that you would like me to work on. Some of you are saying, hey, like, can I see some videos of some of the flips you're doing? Absolutely. I'm in a flip right now. I'll show that. Or a couple of you guys are saying, hey, I love the family stuff that I see you do. And my oldest was recently in a spelling bee, which was absolutely awesome. And he started off with 40 kids, and he was nervous, man. It was such cool. That's a story. I'll start showing some clips of some things that my family's doing involved, because some of you are asking that. But I wanted to, and I love that, man. I'm real big about business, being the family guy, being in my faith, and what have you. That's huge to me. But I'm really big about driving this home and hoping that this helps educate you all on being able to have script and knowledge of script. And I'm doing videos, like I said, based on what you guys are asking. So put it in the comments, put down below, subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks.